Hello, broadcasters. Welcome to episode 238 of the StreamYard Live Town Hall. My name's Geige, and I'm here with Dan, of course. Dan, how are you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. We have a good show for you tonight. We have an exciting guest from the engineering team and a couple topics I'm pretty excited about chatting about. And for anyone new here, Dan and I are the founders of StreamYard. We do these town halls every single Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific, and we do them for a few reasons. One is to stay in tune with all of you, go through the same flow that you all do with your own shows and productions. Two is to answer any of your questions. That's what we're calling it, Ask StreamYard. So if there's anything you'd like us to touch on tonight, feel free to leave it in the chat. We'll do our best to get to as many as we possibly can. And then I always mention the three pillars of StreamYard, which are ease of use, stability, and professional stream. So if you're about those three things, StreamYard is the tool for you. I see people tuning in from all over the world tonight. I think I saw Arizona with 106 degrees in Arizona. That's pretty hot. Hope you're staying cool. I actually lived in Arizona for a little bit of time, and there were a couple summers where it was definitely up there. Got Clarine as usual from Oklahoma. Great to see you here, Clarine. Before we forget, we have some awesome shows on StreamYard. We have YouTube channel reviews with Dee and Daniel the second Saturday of every month. A really great show if you're looking to grow on YouTube. Dee and Daniel are both pros when it comes to that, and they'll go into deep dives on individual channels and talk about things like how to think about your niche and thumbnails and everything that it takes to grow on YouTube. And then we have Enhance Your live streams the last Tuesday of every month with Nick Nimmin, who, again, pro when it comes to all things video. So check that one out for your specific live streaming questions. And then one thing we've been doing at the start of these so that we get to know a little bit more about you and you get to know a little bit more about us is a fun fact. And the fun fact we had for tonight was favorite music album. Do you have a favorite music album?
Yeah, I feel like everyone thinks in terms of songs nowadays, so it's a little tricky on the album side. But two that come to mind for me, maybe, I don't know if I'm allowed to do two. So I guess the number one is probably Back in Black from AC/DC. And if I had a second one, actually, there was Rumors, I think it was called, from Fleetwood Mac. How about you?
I don't know if it's my favorite album, but it's the only album I ever actually purchased a physical copy of. So I feel like I have to say it's my favorite album. And that was actually American Idiot from Green Day, which I think was pretty popular at the time. So
that was very popular. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. It had that the guy with a heart grenade thing. It was interesting.
Yeah, on the cover.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. So let's get to some topics for tonight, and then we'll get to some of the questions I see here. So first things first, we had an announcement last week, which was YouTube member milestone chats. So this is still in the process of rolling out. If you don't have access to it now, you should have access by the end of next week. And if you don't know what this is, it is something that has been requested quite a few times, which is just support if someone's a member on your YouTube channel, they basically have the option to say each month to say hey, I've been a member for a month or 2 months or a year. And they can sort of prompt the host, and now you'll actually see that notification and be able to feature them and thank them for and say hey, thanks so much for being a member for so long.
Yep. And I know I saw Chantel was asking about that. And yeah, that was something I think we forgot to mention last week was the timing of the rollout. I think we had talked about the feature, but we didn't say when it was going to be ready. So that is still rolling out. Should be out to everyone mid this week kind of thing.
Cool. And then the question also, the idea was that it would be included in the starred comments, right, Dan?
Yes. Yep.
Cool.
So it hasn't rolled out at all for some people right now. So you wouldn't be seeing it in general, but once it rolls out for you, it will be starred automatically.
Awesome. And then some of the other announcements, in case you missed them, that were recent. One was the audio waveforms. So pretty small change, but I think it's quite helpful for when you're doing editing. So now in the StreamYard editor, after you've done a live stream or a recording, you'll see basically the audio as you do your editing. So, you can find sort of the areas of silence or where something loud happened. And then the other recent one was the YouTube posting, which we launched a few weeks ago. So whole idea of this one and what we'd like to continue doing with the editor is basically make it easier and easier for you to take your content and make it go further, right? So if you've done, an awesome live stream or a podcast, giving you more ways to take that content and use it in other locations and edit it. And basically all this is, it allows you to take up to 20 minutes in length videos from your recordings or live streams and post them directly to YouTube. And then finally, the other recent one was the new AI features, which I think most of you have probably heard about, but just in case, we recently launched the background noise removal and the touch-up appearance filter. Do you want, in case people don't know what those are, Dan, do you just want to quickly explain what they are?
For sure, yeah. And most of them probably hopefully pretty clear from just the banner themselves. But background noise removal, if you do have some background noise, so let's say you're in an airport or you've got a leaf blower in the background, or just something making noise, even if it's just really subtle noise, you can turn that on and it will just essentially remove as much of that noise as possible. Those things, they never work absolutely perfectly, but it's way better than it is with the feature off. I would say if you have a really high quality audio setup, like if you're in some kind of studio and have a studio quality mic, you're wearing headphones, all this stuff, then you probably don't need that on, and you probably don't need the echo cancellation feature on either. But for most people, we're just kind of in, a random environment. I might have someone like with a lawnmower outside here. I can turn on background noise removal and it'll remove a lot of that noise, which just makes the experience significantly better. So, and that's a feature you have to turn on. It's not turned on automatically. So if you're on StreamYard, there's the settings at the bottom. Click that audio tab. You can turn on background noise removal. And then for touch-up filter, it basically is just a way to kind of get rid of any blemishes on your skin or make you hopefully look, a little bit better. I know not everyone likes touch-up filters or things like that, so you obviously don't have to use it. It's not something we turn on automatically. But this one's in the camera settings section. You can turn that on. It will just touch up your skin a little bit. And I know some of you have already given feedback that you want it to either be a little bit more intense or a little bit less intense. And if anyone in the chat does have feedback on touch-up filter, please let us know which one you would prefer. But we might be adding some kind of secondary setting for that to be able to control just a tiny bit over how sensitive that feature actually is.
Cool. I see quite a few questions here, so let's do some of these before we get into one of the topics for tonight that I'm excited to ask about. Question from Christopher says, is where we show user comments on screen dynamic? Can we change it? So right now, Christopher, it is dynamic in the sense that you can choose between multiple themes. So, and themes will slightly change the size and shape of how those comments look, but you don't have full control over like moving it like to the front of this, like to the center of the screen or something like that. We are open to doing more when it comes to customization. One thing that I've alluded to in the past that we are working on is one thing we did not so long ago was custom layouts, right? So for a long time, StreamYard just had a set of layouts, and those were what you had to work with. But we did add the ability now to make your very own dynamic layouts, and we are continuing to work on functionality that for folks that do want to go deep and really control a lot of different aspects of their stream, let them do it, but still keep things really simple. And that's sort of part of that, of some of those things that we're working on. So stay tuned on that. It's definitely possible that we could add some more flexibility there. That's awesome, Lena. Super happy that it's working well for you and your church.
Awesome.
Charlie has a question about being banned on YouTube. If YouTube, it depends, Charlie, on if you just look up on YouTube the exact location where they'll give you details about the type of ban you have. It might just be a warning or a strike, or there's a few different things that it could be. So depending on what happened, would decide like when you're able to stream again. But that's not tied to StreamYard. That's tied to your YouTube account. Jamel says, greetings, gents. Last night was the first time we used On Air without a social platform. Do we have analytics yet for the videos we can share with our sponsors? That's a good question, Jamel. So right now we do have quite basic analytics. So if you have, I don't want to misspeak, I guess, Dan, with some of the latest stuff. Do you want to talk a little bit about the analytics features?
Yeah, so it is relatively limited right now, but we do at least have a very basic analytics feature, which is that we show you who attended and who registered, basically. So, or you'll get the list of who registered, but then you'll also get a list of who attended. And it's like very much kind of a binary, did they attend, did they not attend analytics right now. It doesn't show you watch time or things like that, but we would like to add more analytics over time. So if all you need to know is who attended, we do have that, but that's it so far.
Cool. And if you've not heard of On Air before, for folks who are maybe wondering what that is, On Air is basically StreamYard's webinar platform. So if you're ever interested in doing, say, like you've built up a great audience on YouTube and you want to do maybe a private event or a private webinar, StreamYard makes it really easy to use like the same studio you're using for social and do that on your own. And you can also, if you do want to do it in addition to live platforms and say embedded on your website, in addition to going to YouTube, you can do that as well. All right. Claire has a good question. What would you say is the main benefit of using the StreamYard editor as opposed to your typical editor, iMovie, etc.? Yeah, so we definitely want to make sure StreamYard works great with all editors, Claire. So if you want to use iMovie, in fact, with local recording, we've actually made sure that we've integrated with editors that are common to make sure that you can easily use those local recordings. So it's not necessarily an either or. The area where the SY editor is nice is it's already there, right? So there's no need to download it and have to have it on your computer taking up storage. It's just stored in the cloud directly on StreamYard, and you can make quick edits immediately after the stream is over. The other one is some of the integrations, which I think is probably unique. I don't think stuff like iMovie generally supports those types of things, where we do have the ability to directly create things like shorts and reels and now the YouTube posting. And we're going to continue going deeper on specifically like the repurposing stuff. I would definitely say like what we're aiming with the StreamYard editor is to make it quite hands off or sort of like
easy.
Make it very easy, basically, compared to iMovie, where if you want to control like every aspect of the editing, versus StreamYard, where we're going to try to help you sort of come up with the best parts and come up with what you want to post, is what we're sort of aiming for.
Yeah. So ultimately, yeah, it's quite easy, and the speed, because you don't have to download it and play around with files. But yeah, if you want to go super deep, then you can use more advanced editors, or if you're really used to some other program, that's totally fine as well. Just, yeah, you do have to download it, wait to download it, and then maybe re-upload it somewhere else afterwards.
Cool. Mandy says, any chance you'll make a video format a possibility? Yes, definitely, Mandy. That is something that we do want to support, and something that we do plan on supporting in the future. I don't have an exact date, but we absolutely want to support vertical video formats.
And Mandy, I'd also be curious if you want that for streaming or more so for recording. You know, for streaming, some people have access to Instagram Live, for example. Not that many people, but some people, and want to stream vertically, and a lot of people just want to record vertically. So curious which one it is for you.
And I see Karen Cole, quite a few questions regarding like the browser and stuff. Just to let you know, maybe you already know, Karen, but we do have a 24/7 live chat that's super helpful. So if you do want someone to sort of walk you through step by step and get you set up with everything you need, if you just go to StreamYard.com/contact and click the chat in the bottom right, we do have like actual people there who will be able to help you go through every single aspect, and send screenshots and pictures and help you with everything.
Yeah, and it's very responsive. Like, you won't be waiting for hours or anything. They're there right now. Or even easier way to find it is just in the top right corner on StreamYard, just click my account and there's a contact button right there.
Cool. Let's do one more topic. I want to make sure we have plenty of time with our guest. This is one that it's been a while since we asked it, so really excited to get your feedback. And that is the number one thing you'd like to see added to StreamYard or maybe changed with StreamYard. So we usually ask this, or we should be asking it every few months. I think it's been a while since we asked it. But we've obviously launched like tons of new functionality and features to StreamYard. So we are super curious if you had to pick a single thing, like the most important thing to you at this point that you really wish StreamYard had or supported, or you could change, like wave a wand and change with StreamYard, and you had to just pick one. We would be really curious what that is. Any other thoughts on that, Dan?
No, I'm always just so curious.
And we'll definitely spend some time, even if we aren't able to get to every single one, spend some time afterwards going through all of them and writing them down. So we do appreciate it, even if we don't get a chance to actually read it out loud.
Yep.
And maybe let's do one or two more questions before we bring on Duncan for tonight. Awesome, Chris. Glad you're enjoying the editor. Kathy says Dan now has a background. He's visiting his folks right now, so a temporary background.
It's kind of a similar color wall, though, right? So it almost looks like I just updated my room. Yeah, I just bought about 100 things all in 1 week. Oh, yeah, I'm visiting my family up in Canada right now, and their background's a little more exciting than mine.
Coach Sherry says, do you still need green screen to change your background? If not, I'd love StreamYard to be like Zoom, where you can change your background without green screen. Yeah, great news, Sherry. Just a few weeks ago, we launched that, and yeah, you can see Dan using it right now. So we launched that along with the actually, I guess we launched it. I'm thinking of the background noise and touch-up filter. We launched green screen a while ago, but yes, you don't need you can still use the physical green screen, and if you want to have like the best possible edges, that is probably the best bet. But if you do just want a quick one, it works great to just use the virtual green screen.
Yep.
All right, and with that, let's bring on our guest for tonight. We have Duncan from the engineering team. Hey, Duncan, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Hello, everybody.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks for joining us, Duncan. So,
No
for anyone
worries.
who's never seen this type of segment on the StreamYard Town Hall, we've been bringing team members from StreamYard onto the show just so you get a chance to not just meet Geige and I, but meet everyone else behind the product as well. So, today we've got Duncan from our engineering team. So, I've got several questions for Duncan. And then, but if you have any questions, any of you in the chat have questions for Duncan, feel free to ask away and we'll get to those after I ask some questions. So, Duncan, first question, can you tell us a bit about yourself and what you do at StreamYard?
Sure. So I'm an engineer at StreamYard working in the studio team. And what that means is I get to work in the studio, which is what you can mostly see if you're using StreamYard, but I also get to do a lot of the things behind the scenes that kind of power a lot of the things that the studio's doing. So it's a really interesting space to work in.
Cool. And where are you located, Duncan?
I'm in Scotland, which you might have detected by my accent
Yeah,
for those
yeah.
watching. I'm in the central belt between Edinburgh and Glasgow, so just in the middle.
Cool. Yeah, it's definitely one of the accents that kind of gives itself away. I guess you could live somewhere else, though.
This is true.
How long have you been at StreamYard now, Duncan?
So I've been at StreamYard for just over a year and 2 months, just round about there. So
Cool. And do you have a favorite StreamYard feature?
there are many features, and they are very excellent and fun. But probably besides the custom layouts, which is really really cool, I think the local recordings is a kind of fun kind of area there.
Cool. And yeah, you've been a big part of that one, so I'm sure that helps.
Yeah, indeed.
But yeah, massive fan of local recordings myself as well. And what did you want to be when you were younger?
When I was younger, I didn't really know so much. I knew it had to do something with computers, and I thought maybe in the direction of music or animation. But yeah, that's kind of where I was thinking at the time.
Okay, that's right. And then how did you end up getting into engineering?
So basically, I kind of went in the direction of animation and realized that that's not where my skills lie. I have no design skills to save my life. So I realized that I actually had programming skills and went in the direction of game development, and that led me to kind of just general software engineering. And obviously at that time, the web was really growing and emerging as this fantastic new platform. So I worked for a few companies, small companies, and worked my way up, and then ended up in the kind of broadcast area. So I worked for a company called STV, which is the second biggest broadcaster in Scotland. And then after a few years there, I went to the BBC, and realised that I really liked broadcast and technology and programming. And whilst all that was going on, I'd always been in and around streaming and live streaming, and was really looking for a way to kind of bring those kind of paths together. And then I kind of was approached about StreamYard, and took a jump and took a leap, and was really excited to work here. So
cool, awesome. And what would you say is your favorite thing about working at StreamYard?
So there's a couple of things. It's, again, kind of like the album man. So there's two things really. So the general atmosphere, the people at StreamYard, like everyone's so experienced and so exciting and so great to work with, and they all have different backgrounds, but everyone's passionate about StreamYard itself and doing what they can to really make it the best product it can be. And actually just StreamYard itself is the other answer. Like the product is a really interesting challenge and technologies to work with. So it's exactly the space that I wanted to work in, and I find it really interesting and exciting.
Cool, awesome. And how would you answer our fun fact question today? Favorite album?
I liked your answers. Both your answers are really good. For me, I would go for In Rock by Deep Purple. I was really into Deep Purple growing up, so I got most of their albums and saw them live twice, which was great.
Cool, awesome. Yeah, I find it hard to even think of albums to some extent nowadays.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of the ones from like 80s, 90s, even early 2000s, like, oh yeah, I remember having that CD. Cool. Do you have a favorite karaoke song?
Probably A Little Respect by Erasure, but just for the kind of hilarity of hitting those really high notes, just to make sure that everyone else can have a good time, because I'm just going to be silly and try and hit those high notes. So.
Cool, that's fun. And do you have a favorite board game?
I'm quite into my board games, so that was a good question. Basically, the ones that kind of are in my brain constantly at the moment are a game called Root, which is kind of, there's different factions you can play, and they all play differently, so there's a lot of replayability, and it's really fun. And there's also another game called Moonrakers, which is a sort of pseudo co-op where you kind of need to work with other people to try and win, but you're trying to win yourself. So yeah, really good. But yeah, I could go on for days about board games.
second interview at some point. All right, Duncan, we need the list. Cool. That's awesome. Sweet. So yeah, that was all the questions from me, but yeah, I'm sure there's some questions in the chat as well.
Yeah, we have several here. I gotta find it, but yeah, Claire was curious what mic you're using, Duncan.
Sure, that's the Rode NT USB.
Right on. And Clarine had the same question I had for you before we went live, which is the background that you're using.
It is not a curtain. It is just my wallpaper, and not even a virtual background.
Right
it can be made a virtual background on request. So
it does look like it could be a virtual background.
For sure. And Charlie was curious if you're into any sports and if you have any brothers or sisters.
Yes, I am the youngest of 4, so I'm the forgotten child often. Yeah, and sports-wise, I'm Scottish, so it's either going to be football, soccer, or rugby. But for me, it's rugby. I grew up playing rugby and really into rugby. But I don't know. I like most sports. I love climbing. I love outdoor sports as well. I really love hiking and things like that. So, yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. Let's see what else we had here. Stanley was curious if there's any updates for mobile devices. So we are always trying to make improvements when it comes to mobile, Stanley. So I'd be really curious specifically what you'd like to see. Like, is there something that's missing or that you'd like to see on StreamYard? Let us know. And then tons of awesome suggestions here in terms of like the number one thing you guys would like to see on StreamYard. For Chris, it was would like to have more guests on the paid plan doing virtual meetups and have to use Zoom, but would love to use StreamYard. I'd be super curious, Chris, like how many folks you have on those meetups, and is it the type of thing where you use any other Zoom features like breakout rooms, or is it purely just like you would just need more people in the StreamYard studio, or is it something you could do with on air, or is on air not going to work because you need people to actually come up on screen? Would be curious to know.
Yep.
Let's see what else we had here. Awesome. Ryan's super happy that StreamYard has been working out well for you. It's kind of you to say. SoCal says, is there a way to customize transitions from one scene to another? Once you click a different scene, it automatically triggers an animated GIF or overlay and then switches to the new scene. Yeah, that's a really good question, SoCal. So not at this time. I mean, there's things that you can do yourself. Like I have been quite impressed with what some of the oftentimes like teams using StreamYard have done, where they use a combination of hitting GIFs at certain times to sort of recreate transitions. It is something that we want to make easier, and similar to what I was alluding to before with custom layouts. The next sort of version of us going deeper when it comes to customization, this is the type of stuff that we'd like to make easier for folks. So I can't get into any dates or anything too specific, but this is something that we're working on addressing. All right. Guido is curious, how long will it be until we can stream on TikTok? So unfortunately, I don't have a specific date on TikTok, Guido. So we do have the ability to post, like and repurpose videos to TikTok. But right now there's not like an official API to stream to TikTok. But if there is, it's certainly something that we would like to support. Animal says, I'm trying to use the pre-record feature. Does it have to be a timed pre-record, or can I do it last second pre-record? And how long can it be for? So I might be misunderstanding the question, Animal. So if I'm missing any part of it, definitely let me know. But it's quite flexible with what you can do with pre-recorded streams. So they can essentially be like it could be 5 minutes, it could be 2 hours. I don't know what is the actual. It depends on the plan, right? What are the actual?
Yeah. So if you go to the pricing page on StreamYard, and if you're on the free plan, you just click upgrade and you'll see it. If you're not, you can go to the billing page and then go to the pricing page from there, or just StreamYard.com/pricing, and you'll see that there is different hour limits on each plan. So it does vary per plan a little bit there. But in terms of timing, and I'm not sure I fully understand the time part, but basically you can create a recording and then just use it immediately, or you could have something you've got on your machine that you just upload and use it immediately. There's no weirdness around timing constraints or anything other than the length limit, like we mentioned.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. there's definitely some interesting suggestions in terms of more audio features. So we'll have to look into more of these afterwards. We got a cool one from Chantel. Says if I could wave a wand, it would be a second audio source like system audio without additional hardware, software workarounds. That's super good to know. Chantel, definitely notice.
And I'd be curious what you want to share, Chantel. Like why the system audio? Is that like an application you want to share the audio for? Is it sound effects where you have some kind of other program you're using for sound effects? You want to pipe that in? Just curious what it's for.
Yeah, I'd be curious what kind of show you're doing in general. Would be really interested to know.
Yep.
All right, I didn't realize the time. Should we go ahead and start queuing up the giveaway for tonight? Dan,
absolutely.
Cool. Well, Dan pulls that up. I'll maybe do one or two more questions. Creative Lady says definitely ready for the vertical streaming. Absolutely. Cool. So it looks like many of you are already familiar with the giveaway tool. So to be eligible, all you have to do is type in hashtag the yard. And tonight we'll give away a StreamYard duck and a StreamYard pillow. And if you're ever keen on running one of these giveaways yourself, we actually made this tool publicly available. So if you go to StreamYard.com/giveaway, there's a little video walking through exactly how to use it. But you can do exactly what Dan and I are doing here. And you can even choose your own hashtag there. You don't have to use hashtag the yard. It can be whatever you want. So we'll maybe give you 10 seconds or more or so to get in your hashtag the yards. Claire says, love how you're constantly improving the platform. Of course, Claire, it's definitely a pleasure with our user base to be able to get to interact with you guys and launch features that you need. So it's our pleasure.
Yep.
All right. Has the number stabilized, Dan? I haven't been.
I'd give it another 5 seconds, 10 seconds.
All right. Another audio request was the Perpetual Tourist. I like the channel name. I assume it's like a travel channel. That's cool. I'd like to be able to select separate microphone and speaker choices for audio on mobile. Good to know. You should be able to do some of that though, right, Dan?
Microphone. I don't know if we have. I don't think we have speaker control.
Okay, good to know.
Could be wrong, but.
All right. Has it settled down, Dan?
I think we're good enough. Yep. Good luck, everyone.
Good luck. Tristan has definitely, I think, has all the merch. If you don't, Tristan, we'll definitely send you more. So let's run it back.
We'll run again. I don't know if Tristan's ever actually won the draw before, though.
If he hasn't won, he definitely. If he doesn't, we'll send you all the stuff, Tristan. I think he's even won the draw before.
All right, Joey.
Joey, thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight. If you could send an email to contact@StreamYard.com, the team can get your address and send you your brand new StreamYard duck and your StreamYard pillow.
Cool. Congrats.
All right. And with that, this was episode 238 of the StreamYard Live Town Hall. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us. It's always a pleasure being here with you. We'll go back and check out all the comments afterwards. And we'll see you next week at the same time, Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific.
Perfect. Thanks for hanging out with us, everyone.